Welcome everybody to another episode of the Good Game Pods. I'm your host Sam Rainima. Joining me today, making his Pods debut, is Jared Cannon. We'll be talking about the season launch in Vegas, what we thought about the two games played so far, also the Zac Lomax drama. Where's Mitch Barnett gonna sign? Coaches who are on the chopping block or at risk of being sacked this year, and some of the things that we're looking forward to in the games to come this round. So let's kick this thing off. All right, Jared, my brother, how's it going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. Thanks for jumping on the pods today and making your pods debut.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Live it in the studio.
And this is your
setup.
Is this your podcast debut?
Debut, mate. Jersey presentation earlier this evening, so thanks for that. Yeah. Happy to be here and appreciate you having me on. So looking forward to having a good chat. Yeah.
So do you want to just tell the audience a little bit kind of about yourself?
How much detail do you want?
No, just,
a little bit myself. Jared, good mates with yourself. Known each other for a number of years now through the church. You're one of the first faces I saw when I came over there, Pentecostals of Sydney, and we've been mates ever since back in 2009. Yeah. So Penrith boy, well, from out Penrith way.
Yeah.
Always played footy. That's always been a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And obviously been a Christian part of the church for a good 16 years now. I was about 2021. Came to church. So family, wife, 3 kids. So it's very busy, but that's a bit of a snapshot.
Were you still playing football? You were playing football when we met? Like, you still play football?
Yeah, I was at Windsor Wolves then,
Oh,
and because I remember I was doing the trek. Like, we had youth on a Friday night, and I'd train at Windsor and then do the trek to Campsie, but it was a bit of a trek, but it was worth it. Like, it was obviously wanted to be a part of it, and it was a good time. And I remember coming into church for the first time. My grandparents were there, and they introduced me to you. And I think the thing that attracted me, like, obviously as blokes and the same sort of age, and footy's a talking point that we can, and I think that's one of the first things we talked about. It was just footy, wherever you played, all that sort of thing. So that sort of sparked the conversation, and it was good. So, and I think just from there, every week I came, it was sort of talking about footy, and that was sort of a real connection point for us. But and that's it's continued on now into as long as I've been there. Anyone that anyone new that comes in, or if someone brings their friend or something, usually even if it's just one of the boys, they've either played league or union, some sort of, or they're interested in footy, they follow footy, so it's a real good connecting point. And usually it's a small world, so you sort of start rattling off a few names that you've played with, and then they know someone that knows someone, and so it's a good way to sort of connect with people.
Awesome. And that kind of that kind of encapsulates everything that I've mentioned about why I started the podcast in the first place, because I always found that the game was a common ground. But that definitely encapsulates, like, what why I done it, because football's always been that connector. And obviously we've developed a relationship over years through our faith journey and our walk with God. But football's rugby league, kind of is always that common ground. Whenever you can find out someone is a fan of the game, it's just automatic. Like, and like you said, it's actually, it is a small community. And that's one thing I love about the game, is when you meet someone that's a kind of similar age and you start rattling off names. It's like, I played with this person, that person, and then you start telling stories of
I remember that player. I remember how good he was. He should have made it. All those sort of chats. But
You said you grew up because you grew up out west. So you were Penrith Junior, but you're wearing a West Tigers hat.
Yeah.
And I know you're a fan of the Tigers. So how did that?
Oh yeah, my old man was from Ryde, so
Sure.
But he had a few mates that played for Balmain, 70s.
Yeah.
He played for Balmain Police Boys, I think it was. So he was out from out that way, and I was born in Eastwood.
Yeah.
And sort of was there for a few years, but so he was a Tigers fan, and then we went up to Taree for a couple of years, and then so I'm pretty much from the country, country boy at heart. Yeah. I was only a couple of 2 or 3 years old.
How old were you? 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah. So, but he got a job back in Blacktown, so we moved down back in western suburbs, and from there I was 4 or 5, and I remember my first sort of introduction, Peppertree, St Clair Comets, up the local field is only a couple hundred metres up the road. Sure. So we went up there, and I remember seeing the young kids running around and I was, can I go and play?
Yeah.
And I remember having that conversation with my old man. He sort of said, "Oh no, you can't." And I remember there was the West City Tigers. They were wearing like a Tigers, we were Tigers fans. Yeah, so I was like, "There's the Tigers, I want to play." But we went back home that day, and whatever. But sometime, and he sort of said, "Do you want to play?" And I said, "Yeah." So under 6, I started playing with St Clair.
Yeah. Did
that for a couple of years, and then I had some mates over at Colleton, another Colleton Colts. So I played there for a couple of years, and then that team sort of disbanded, was breaking up, and then I had another mate playing at St Mary's, and his dad was the coach, and he sort of said, "Do you want to come over and play at St Mary's?" And great club, big club. So I jumped at the opportunity. So to go over there, and then just played there for quite a few years, and
life member there now, right? You played the
not a life member. There's a life members trophy. I was lucky enough to get back in 2014, but it's a great club, one of the best junior clubs in the world.
It's probably one of the best kind of park footy fields I've been to. Like the quality, it's a great facility, great ground.
Oh, it's great to play. Like this when we're playing A grade, that's our home ground was NRL quality. So and it was it felt a bit unfair to other teams because we play semi-finals there against like Emu Plains.
So it was always those
sort of teams, and but everyone wants to play there because it's such a good field. But
so you are a Balmain supporter.
Yes, yeah.
So what was that like? We've got an agenda. I promise you, we've got an agenda. We're gonna talk. We are gonna talk NRL.
Yeah.
But I want you to get to know Jared because I'm hoping that you'll be on here more often.
Yeah.
But
thanks.
So how was that like when they merged? Did you accept it? Were you just like, this is the way?
I think I was fine with it. Like, I can't remember. It was good that the Tigers stayed in the comp.
Yeah.
Because I remember that time St George Illawarra merged in '98. I think we're end of '99, so it meant that they could stay in the comp, and we had a team to support, so it was good. But I spent like the early parts of my early years. My dad would go out to Leichhardt. Like nearly, we were tragics, Like we'd go for. I remember
eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah. Great field, but I remember going to like midweek games of New South Wales, reserve grade back then, New South Wales Cup. We'd go on like a Thursday, like be playing a Thursday night. Dad go, "You want to go watch?" I go, yeah. So we'd go down and there'd be 10 people there, all the parents. Cool. It was just like, I loved it. So that was my introduction to footy. I was and throughout my junior years, probably like yourself, like you'd at school and that, at high school anyway, you'd be training for school one day, and then you'd be training like St Mary's on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays would be training for school. Thursday you play a game. Friday you're probably doing something else with footy, and then the weekend you play again. So it was footy. Like,
did you ever give Union a crack?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't much. Like they got the Emus out in Penrith, but they were never really strong. Like, sort of. Had
I did play a little bit just for the fitness, to be honest. No. But league's way better.
In the front row.
In the centers, actually, that's the only reason why. In the centers, like I was a back rower in the league, but then you get
you've got the footwork,
that's how it always was.
See how that
bit faster, But look, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
And the thing is, like Jared shared, we've always had this common interest in the game of rugby league, and And it was after like conversations like with yourself and even conversations with Jerome and Jonah that have already been on the show. We've got some other boys jumping on the pods later on, but we also have great conversations. Man, we always like good footy chat. So it's always and I always walk away from those conversations, but like, man, we could just record that and put that on a podcast. I'm sure someone will listen to it. Someone will listen to it. Someone that has
our mums. That's it.
What's that?
Mum will listen to it anyway.
Yeah. Someone will just get the view up. She'll like it. And but I appreciate you jumping on
and good on you for starting this. Like we talked about it quite a few times.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of guts to get out there and do something. So good on you, mate.
Yeah,
and
thanks,
I think it's going to get bigger and better things. And
but well, we're here to talk footy. And Vegas round. The 2 games of the season. We had NRL launch the weekend that just passed. The Knights took on the Cowboys. The Bulldogs took on the Dragons. Interesting games of footy. Bit of controversy. Always there has to be. What was your thoughts of the game, and what do you think about
Vegas?
Us taking it to Vegas anyway?
Yeah, mate. I think any expansion of the game's positive. I think Volandi's great at the helm. He's a great visionary leader. Abdo's doing a good job too, by the looks of it. And they're putting it out there. Like there was so many years there. It was just Australia, New Zealand, and now even the islands. It's been great that there's a lot of players jumping over there and strengthening those sides to make it a bit more competitive at international level. But I think Vegas. It's a spectacle. It's a great spectacle, as the boys were talking about last week. Greg and Stefan. There's probably some opportunities or different ways to do it.
Yep.
I think if they want to make it long lasting and not just a splash in the pan.
Yep.
Like I've just heard the Tigers are going the next year, so I'll be trying to
get over there
and get over there. I think it's like a once in a lifetime sort of experience, But so that's exciting. But in terms of there was 45,000 there. There was a big build up to the game. I don't know how many of those were Americans or ones that have been following the game, and they're genuinely there.
I think there was reported around 20,000 that flew. That flew there. Well, that's what the tourism of Vegas said. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they said, about 20,000. Yeah. So the rest were from there. And I saw there were a lot of Americans, Pacific Islanders that came. I saw one group that was there a group of Tongans that were there to support Tomalolo.
Oh wow!
So it's definitely awesome. Like Stefan brought up last week, like you said, there has to be. It can't be just a one-off weekend if you want the game to grow. And he suggested that they need. The issue was that the fan base need to have access to the product.
Yeah,
it's one thing to go over there, but then what are they going to do after that? If they want to watch the games, like what are they going to do? And the best way, because of the time difference, was to set up a local competition. And actually, from the comments, there were a few people that said that, and Matt Rogers was actually on his radio program. He said that very thing. He said that's not enough just to have a one-off game, because if you explain the rules to someone, and then you got to explain them once a year. But the only way they get used to the actual game and understand, the rules and strategy and all that sort of stuff is if they're exposed to it weekly.
Continually, that's right. Weekly. Consistently.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you have your NRL 360s or whatever they have their version, like constantly, like a show talking about it, so they understand.
They've got to have someone they relate to from American. I remember David Newey, halfback for St. George back in the day. He was over there, and I remember there was talks like he was trying to get competition. I think he did get a competition going over there.
There is a competition there. Yeah, there is a competition. And we have ex-NRL players coaching.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, well, I didn't know that. So, like that, and that's someone who could be on one of those shows, and Americans could relate. Yeah, because he's American. Yeah. But as Stefan said last week, around it's on at 2:00 in the morning. They've got to get up, and they've got to pay for the app. Well, there's a lot of barriers there.
Yep.
You've got to make it easy for people, and I think. Especially I know they're after it's the almighty dollar at the end of the day, and we talked about gambling and that sort of thing, which is if that's what they want to go for. But if you want sort of long term, you got to get in the schools over there. You got to get in the juniors. You know, like AFL are really good at it.
Yeah.
In
Australia,
like in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, till I was about 13, 14, 15, like it was just rugby league. You're around all the fields around the place, there's footy posts, and then you start to see that Oz kick come in over the years, and they get in, they throw a lot of money at it. They're in the schools, they're showing kids how to kick, what the game's about, and then slowly you see that participation rate from local AFL teams, you know, rise, and I think the fields start changing to AFL posts.
I think the union in the States, they do a better job of tapping into the schools. You know, there's a lot of scouts that look at players that don't make it. You look like Sevens rugby is massive, right? Sevens rugby is massive. So you get a lot of scouts, recruitment officers, kind of trace up players who don't make the NFL, and then there's another avenue, because they're athletes at heart. So
that's what we need. We need some of the recruitment officers standing outside a high school after they make the NFL cuts didn't make the team. Hey, mate, I've got a game for you over here. You know, come and try your hand, because they're athletes. Like as Stefan said as well, and Greg, like they're in good shape, these guys. And you see from the rugby sevens, some of the sprinters, Isles, Baker,
they transition.
Like
so if they, I've always thought that if they like sevens, then I feel like they'll love league, because I feel like league is almost a hybrid of the two, like as in like it's as fast as sevens. So what did you think about the games?
I thought I was surprised by both games. Really, like I didn't get my tips right. Cowboys always promise a lot.
Did you tip Dragons versus Bulldogs?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Sorry, I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I just Galvin.
Okay. Hot take. Yeah. Clip that.
That scar's still there, mate. Nah.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Dragons supporter. You just can't.
Yeah. It's only been 6 months. Nah. Not so much. I just think the Bulldogs, like, man, they got so many good players.
Yeah.
But nobody takes the lead there.
Yeah.
Like, and it just showed in that game as well. Like at the end when we needed someone to kick a field goal, I was even thinking, because I'm a really strong rugby league mind, I was thinking about Crichton when he played in the World Cup and kicked that field goals.
Yeah.
And because the commentators kept talking about, where's Burton? He's lining up. And where's Galvin? Didn't even get a. They didn't even talk about him kicking a field goal, and then Crichton ended up kicking. I was thinking, yeah, that's right. He's kicked one before. He's under pressure. He's a leader, man.
Yeah.
And so they must be so lucky, or they're so glad they've got someone like him in the team.
Well, because they had multiple opportunities in the last 5 minutes of the second half where they could have iced it, and but for whatever reason they didn't train for it. They didn't. Well, they didn't set it up.
Well, you played footy, not at that level. Both of us haven't, but like you're practicing those scenarios, aren't you? And
it kind of
over and over. Like
I saw, but even though the Bulldogs did kick the field goal, Crichton obviously the game winner. It looked like the Dragons weren't prepared for Golden Point, because they had more opportunities. But they just weren't in the right positions. No one was, running cover and all that sorts of stuff.
Now, Holmes had that hammy playing up. So, and he's the only long range sort of option they had for a field goal. So, but I was surprised by the Dragons. I thought they did a defensive effort on the Dogs. What the Dogs usually do to other teams, I thought they went really well. I think some of the commentators said, they didn't play real well and they were a bit disorganised. Their line speed, especially in that first half. They were pinning the kicking game from Atkinson was pretty decent.
I think that was the shining light. If I had to get one takeaway from that game, his kicking game got him out of a lot of trouble. And I think that is something they can build on, because I'm trying to reflect on the last. Ben Hunt didn't have a kicking game as a long kicking game. as good as that. Even though overall, obviously Hunt's a legend.
Better player.
But it just showed how vital that kicking game is from a half. And it's like some people it's like punching power or like I've had friends that were like half my size, but they can throw the ball. It's just like you either got it or you don't. You know what I mean? Like Burden, they're like Mitchell Moses.
Yeah.
They just like you can practice. I think you can practice and you can add distance to your kick. Yeah. But then some people just got great timing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like punching power. It's like some people just naturally have punching power, and some don't.
Technique.
And it looks like Atkinson has a really good long kicking game because some sets, I always remember Andrew Johns always says you can save a bad set with a good kick, but then you can also ruin a good set with a bad kick. You know what I mean? That last tackle option is so vital, and it looks like they at least that's a part of, and I've heard that one of Atkinson's strength is his running game.
Yep.
So to see a long kicking game from him. Kind of shows.
Well, he's obviously had it there. He was at the Sharks. He probably was put in the back pocket a bit. Mate, you're going to come on at 14 and we want you to run the ball, create a bit of havoc in the middle. It wasn't about controlling a game, and now he's in the halves. He's got to do that a bit more.
Well, I have a friend who's involved at the Sharks, and he coaches. He helps with the Haramat side at the moment, but he's always been part of the system, flag, issue ball. So, and he always
did he coach him or?
No, they're kind of the same age. Actually, he's young. He's young.
Oh, right.
But he said that he's good enough to play first grade, but he was just behind, Nico Hines and Trendle. But he said that he's more than capable. He believes he is. So that was kind of like you said that the Dragons. People wrote him off. And I feel like Damien Cook kind of stood up and managed the game from the middle a little bit.
They've got look at Gutho, their work ethic, and they're fit. Yeah, those guys are fit. You know, so they're getting a bit older, but like you hear Flanagan talking about Gutho, he's winning still everything and by some distance. Their runs and all that. So you can't question that, and he's got heart. So it's another year of the forwards of like those Couchman brothers. They look a bit stronger, and they were pretty. They played well.
You got. I think it's a promising future for the Dragons if they can keep these juniors. Keep Couchman twins, Hamish Stewart.
I like Selle too. He's good.
Selle,
he plugs away.
Good impact. Dylan Egan, he's still got to come back. He's strong. They still got Pacifica Tonga who didn't get a run, but they've got some up and comer and juniors. That's how like a club's in a strong position. Is they're just bringing up their juniors because you think about that catchment area, they just have the St. George area, but they're also Illawarra region. Yeah, so there's no like they've and rugby league is strong in those areas, so they should, and I feel like they're probably on the cusp of that Ben Hornby, Cooper, Matt Cooper,
that era,
Morris twins, like juniors, bring juniors, Ben Gray,
because they're
Justin Paul,
SG Ball. Did they go close to winning a couple?
I think I think their juniors are pretty strong. Yeah,
with the back rower from Patrician Brothers, I can't pronounce his name, but he made his debut last year. He's a good fella. Yeah,
which back rower?
Man. Shouldn't have
done our research. No. But I just thought it was promising for the Dragons. It was promising. You still got some juniors. It's good. Great story with Setu the
winger.
The winger. Great story with him. Even though his head nearly got taken off by Stephen Crichton.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
A lot of controversy. A lot of crazy calls in that game. Look, it's hard to argue with Dragons fans when they're like, they got the rub with the green kind of tended to go with the Dragons. So it's hard to argue that that last play, that penalty, that led to the Crichton drop goal. That's a loose carry, loose carry, man. And that was a loose carry.
Oh, definitely. That's
so that was but But in saying that, Dragons had opportunities to win the game. But I thought a lot of the 50-50 calls went against them. But yeah, probably
there's 5 or 6 of them Flanagan's taken.
Oh yeah,
he's submitted a review for, hasn't he? So
fair enough. I get it. Like, if that Crichton probably would have got at least 10 minutes in the bin most of the times.
Well, Braden Burns in the first game.
Exactly.
There's the inconsistency. It was almost identical, really.
Exactly.
Like, so your name in rugby league sometimes gets you places. And like Cleary last week, people will argue that there was no contact, and
maybe this comes down to Greg's point last week talking about superstars getting suspended. He copped a lot.
It's the first time I've heard that, really, like from what Greg said last week. And I was sort of sitting there going, I agree with that. You don't want to see your stars rubbed out. Like Cameron Smith
in that grand final,
rightly or wrongly.
Yeah.
But, there's got to be some other, it made me think about, like, what other punishments there could be for immediate in the game as well. Like, there's got to be bigger deterrents for those sort of tackles. Sure. And that sort of foul play. Like, I know gone are the days Terry Lamb and Ellery Hanley. Yeah, just going out and blatantly taking somebody out. But,
well, some people said, in the comments, and I get it, like, some people said that, if you take away the suspensions, then, it's going to be like the Wild Wild West. I disagree with that. I think players are a lot more professional nowadays. They're a lot more conscious about player safety. And, like, one of the gripes that people have, especially the old school players, is like after a game, after a loss, how the players are like laughing and shaking hands with the opposite team. Yeah, so like these players have relationships with players in the other team. No one goes out there wanting to take someone out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like the game has changed. I don't think like you need suspensions. Like, I'm not saying get rid of suspension, but he brought up a good point, because I remember a conversation we had. Some time ago. Yeah. Like in the States, because it's an athlete driven industry. Yeah. Sports, it's all about the athletes, Like if an NBA team didn't have a superstar, then it'd be reflected with the ticket prices. Yeah. But if they were to sign like a LeBron James, a Luka Doncic, like a big superstar, all of a sudden the prices go up. So, but with us, our culture obviously
apparel,
doesn't change.
All the gear, you sell a lot more of that. Yeah, so it's a big financial thing. But in the NFL too, like they play a lot less games for their season as well. So
that is true.
If you miss 6 games or 5 games, whatever,
that's half the season.
Yeah, it's a massive part of the season. So
it was just an interesting kind of topic. And again, I just wanted to get Americans' perspective, because we were trying to tap into the American market. So I thought, well, if we're trying to tap into the American market, then it should be important that we understand the American psyche around sports, and that's one of the issues,
But just on the American thing too, I think they need, like, Americans love their celebs, and they got to tie something. Like, I think if you got someone like The Rock involved, and he's like paid him a couple of mil.
It's funny you said this, bro, because someone made a comment in after that. Yeah. After actually Stefan's
anonymous 658. That was.
Was that you? No, they made a comment about instead of taking that game, taking NRL season launch, take a Samoa versus Tonga game.
Oh yeah.
And then get The Rock to like promote it. Get like your Islanders, your Jason Momoa, like people to promote it. Like exactly what you said.
Because he jumped on board when they were in the World Cup, and he did a video, and so it was he's definitely knows about the game, and I think if you got him promoting it,
like I said, that
people relate to him. Oh, if The Rock's saying it's come watch this, like I might go watch it.
I think that will be like I was saying before. I saw videos of Islanders that went to the game from like Arkansas.
Wow,
they went to the game. To support Tomalole to Tonga. You know what I mean? So if you had Tonga versus Samoa, that place would be packed out. I thought that was a great idea. Shout out to the person that made that comment.
No, it's a good idea.
Yeah, so that was a great kind of a tight game. What did you think of the Knights Cowboys?
good game. Again, I was surprised. Like, Cowboys always promise so much every year, or the last couple of years anyway. So they've got a great team, speed on the edges, and some good big middle forwards. And I think Reed is a great addition to their team. Like, his line speed. He's got a point to prove with the doggies letting him go. It's quite controversial, but and his kicking game was a big difference. I saw him getting out from. That's something that Robson probably didn't have or lacked.
Robson doesn't really have a kicking game.
He got out, and he's another option there. So he's saving Drinkwater and the other fellas from
Tom
that
Dearden,
pressure.
I think Jake Clifford.
Well, Dearden, yeah, that's right. And you can just sort of, instead of going to the same option, you can step out, go. And he was close to a couple of 40-20s there. I think it just makes a big difference. And that niggle, he's got to get it right, obviously, because it can cost your team. But, well, it just shows, because I remember Phoenix Crossland. Yeah.
He actually kicked the 40-20 out of dummy half.
Yeah.
Right? He took it on the fourth tackle, which I think a lot of people were sleeping on Phoenix Crossland. Great player, man. Great player.
He's a great player. He's done a great job going into hooker. I think he's halfback.
He's a halfback,
and
he's a New Zealand hooker. And I've always felt, and I've said this for years, that I feel like there's some kind of maybe I don't want to use the word average, but maybe they may not get a regular crack at a halfback that will make great hookers.
Yeah,
because there's something about. I think the way they see the game, the way the halfbacks see the game from the middle.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? They play hooker like a half, so they're more organized.
Yeah,
they view the game they perceive the game differently, whereas someone that's brought up as a hooker sometimes plays like a forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they are down forward, whereas a halfback turned hooker thinks of the game more like an actual halfback or 5'8".
Yeah,
because I've always felt that. I've always felt like some like you look at Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith played 5'8". Growing up, you look at what's his name? Peter.
Like Steve Walters back in the day.
Yeah.
Kerrod, and they were all sort of halves, hookers and stuff. So that would have added to the game.
What was his name? What was the halfback from Penrith back in the day? Kind of blonde hair.
Oh,
Peter.
Carter. Peter.
Oh, he played Origin. He played with Soward. Hopefully it'll come back to me.
Yeah.
He played he was a halfback and they moved him into hooker.
Yeah.
Anyway, clip that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to see the dynamics of the Knights as well, because it looked like that Ponga was kind of controlling a lot in the middle.
The Ponga show.
And then you had like Dylan Brown. It felt like there was three playmakers out there. Literally three playmakers.
Yeah.
With Fletcher Sharp, who I heard is only out for 2 weeks, possibly.
Oh wow!
Yeah, PCL injury, which is good. Yeah,
they shouldn't have left him on, but shouldn't have left him on. Like, if you're not right, and it was good. Cowboys just went straight at him.
Yeah, hit him. Lukey scored scored off. Targeted him.
Yeah, brave, but like not smart.
Well, that's trainer's fault, because he was like,
yeah. Of course, the players goes, I'm good.
A few moments later, But you know what? I was impressed with the Knights, kind of line speed, and
Trey Mooney, good addition in the middle. Leo Thompson moves out and just got a taller version of him that comes in.
They've got some young players coming through, Jermaine McGowan.
I like Dylan Lucas. He's been good for a couple of years now. But it was the Ponga show, I thought. And Dylan Brown was good in defence. Sort of didn't see much in attack, but it's the first game. Like, you can't expect too much. But
I feel like also because Ponga's kind of stepping into his own in terms of leadership. Like, he's like taking the reins, taking control. So I felt like, because he played a lot of first receiver.
Yeah.
Usually he'll play second receiver off the back of shape. He played a lot of receiver. Kind of reminded me of when Thurston was at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
If you see the way Thurston would play, he'd control the middle third. and then he would be the first receiver connecting to the 5'8", and first receiver connecting to the fullback on one side. And that's all. That's where he stayed. He was just on either side of the ruck.
Yeah, dishing it out.
Yeah, and it kind of felt a little bit like that, except that Dylan Brown and Fletcher Sharp would chime in more often. You know, they would connect sometimes.
Yeah, well, they're athletes, mate. Like if you get them on the back of Ponga, their running games, what their strength is really. Like Brown, and he didn't come there because he's a great kicker or he's a great game manager. Like we saw that at Para. He went in halfback for a little while there. He's the man on the outside that'll burn people. Come back on the angle, support play, like that's him.
Well, I think Phoenix Crossland has also earned the right to take authority of the ruck, and I've always felt this. I've always felt this, which I've always felt that it could be a kind of a bit of a downfall for some teams if they got a rookie hooker.
Yeah,
and then you got players like Dylan Brown on one side. You got Kalen Ponga,
and they're all screaming.
So they're screaming for the ball. So you want to give them the ball,
yeah,
right? Whereas you need a hooker that is be like, no, I need to do my job first.
Right choice.
Yeah, I need to do my job.
Spray.
Exactly.
Like Callan De Silva at Para, like Moses gave him a few sprays there last year because of the decisions he was making. And he's only a young fella. Like, of course,
So if you have a hooker, I feel like if you have a hooker that has the confidence to do their job. And then distribute the ball because they can't do their job unless the forwards do.
No, he's like with those names around him. Yeah. You're not going to hear too much about Crossland, but he's he's fantastic. Like the glue that sort of holds. And defensively, I thought he's going to dominate a bit, mate. He's solid. Like,
solid. Well, it's Kiwi, bro. Yeah, strong.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, we'll probably talk more about it a little bit later. Yeah, the Cowboys are a little bit disappointing, and we're going to talk about coaches that are most likely to be out here, and I think he's probably number one at the moment. So,
unfortunately,
it was good. It was good, kind of, good round all up. At least they weren't blowouts. If we're going to take a product of the English Super League game was a blowout. Yeah,
that's not much of a promotion for the game, is it? Exactly. Like, it's an improvement on the girls' game last year, obviously.
Oh, the international.
That should have been Australia versus New Zealand, really.
Yeah, it should have been.
But, and that even Hull, well, they've come off the Broncos game.
Yeah, they came off
on
the
a bit of a high, like
yeah.
emotions, running high.
Yeah.
And they got to fly to Vegas, and then that whole piece. So, not being with
I'm not going to read
you can sort of tell it takes a toll on them.
Yeah.
And Leeds are up for it, so
yeah.
Once they've got the momentum, just it's hard to come back.
I thought overall it was a good. It's the first round.
Yeah,
it's the first round. When you had one golden point and you had another game 8 points difference. So
amazing stadium, amazing field.
Great experience.
Be great to play out there. Yeah, amazing.
Well, maybe again to all the people that was giving the comment had Greg a hard time. Maybe the fields are like that because the superstars stay on the field. You know what I mean? Because it brings in more money. So they invested into rather than suspending play.
Yeah.
Just say.
True.
But that was a good round. It's kind of weird that we have 2 rounds then, and then we have 4 days before the next couple of games. But before we move on, we'll before we do a little preview, if we get to it, the upcoming games. Big news: Zac Lomax.
Yes.
Fourth.
It's a bit like, I don't know, maybe a bit of a conspiracy. Put your tinfoil hat on. We've been thinking about it the last couple of days. I'm sort of glad that the result has been that he, that Para got reimbursed. It was $250, I think. They got paid out.
No, they were offered $250.
Oh, okay. I thought they got paid.
No, they were offered. They didn't take it. Oh, they got paid. Sorry, they got paid their legal fees. Yeah,
legal fees.
$250. $250.
And he's out for 2 years. I'm sure he'll find his place, find somewhere to play over the next 2 years. I'm sure they'll work some sort of deal out. But I just felt like I was just looking at the timeline. He signed for Para under when Arthur was coach, Brad Arthur, when he was still at the Dragons.
Yep.
And it was sort of, you got that, I'm sort of looking back at and thinking about media articles at the time, whether he was looking forward to playing under Riles. I guess I'm not sure because he did sign Arthur. He had a good connection with Brad Arthur. But got a visitor.
Yeah.
So he's gone to the Eels. Riles' coach. He's still playing on the wing. He's playing well. He's playing for Origin. Then he goes in the Origin camp, and lo and behold, Bellamy's assistant coach. So they got that. They're team bonding. They're chatting. They're talking. And then it was just the timing of R360 and Pappenhausen retiring. He didn't make that decision in October.
Yeah.
You don't just make that decision. I'm sure he was talking about it with Bellamy and the club for months beforehand. So Bellamy's, got to keep his eye out for an outside back, a goal kicker. I know they got Meany down there, but he's a handy goal kicker, Lomax.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just a bit of conspiracy.
I think. Jerome made a hot take right a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
and he thinks that Storm won't make the 8. Now that's a crazy take, but actually there were more people that Willie Mason actually said the same thing on his podcast like 3 days later.
Yeah,
right. Don't worry, we will do something on socials.
Yeah, I know everyone watches every week.
So they're listening. They saw the hot take. Yeah. But when you see what they were doing with Lomax, Storm don't. That's uncharacteristic of them.
Yeah.
To go through this hassle for one player, but it kind of maybe they're showing their hand that they don't have as much depth as we're used to them having. Because and some of it unforeseen, like they probably weren't expecting. Even though Pappenhausen probably had a chat with them before, they probably weren't expecting him to. At the beginning of the year, they probably weren't expecting him to retire.
Yeah.
And then you have Eli Qatar.
Yeah.
Right. Who's out for the year. So they're skinny. You know what I mean? And then I think they want to Jack Howarth. That they want to put him in the back row, and they want to put Zac in the centers. But I feel like that play was a little bit of like they were showing their cards. Like we don't have someone coming through like we used to. Because they let Grant Anderson, who's a great player, they released to the Broncos.
He was a good player.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Mate. So
good. Filled a position, filled a role. But Farlongo, I don't know if Bellamy's. And
sold on him?
Just got off the phone to Bellamy. Yeah. I know what he's thinking, but I don't know if he sold on him. Yeah, because he fills in, but he hasn't. Like when you hear him in interviews and stuff, he doesn't. He's not like Farlongo's our man. We're going with him. He sort of at the start
a bit of doubt.
In the trials, Farlongo was training well. So
they had another player in the trials.
Yeah.
Who I don't know his name, but he looked sharp too.
Yeah, right.
And
at the back.
At the back, and the commentators were rapping him. So maybe there's another player. I don't think he owns that.
No,
jersey.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like with Pappenhausen gone, you got Farlongo who lights the field up.
Yeah.
But he's sort of just he's on the wing. He's the fullback. He's sort of all over the
place. He almost seems like he would be a good player to keep on the 6-man bench. You know what I mean?
And right at the end of the game, and everything's like he'll just carve up the middle. Yeah. Chase is great chase, but I just don't think Bellamy's sold on it. Obviously not, and because he was talking before the trials, I've heard him talk about. They said, "Oh, Farlongo's got the position of fullback," and Bellamy and Nick Meaney's a decent fullback too, and we've got other options there. He was sort of downplaying a little bit, like you don't want to boost someone's ego and say,
Could you see Lomax playing fullback?
Yeah, I could see anywhere in the back five. Lomax, he'll fill in and do a job. He's the way he takes the bombs.
He's big, man. He's a big guy.
It's just the fullbacks have got to get around the ground a lot. So
that's what I'm.
He's more of that power explosive.
He might be more like the Latrell Mitchell type. You know what I mean? Like he's not like your Teddy or your just kind of.
But he does take carries out of the backfield, not like Mitchell. Like he's down good ball.
I don't know what he's like off the back. What he'd be like off the back of shape. Just coming off that sweep play, giving it to his centers. I don't know. Has he got a cut-out pass in him?
Play centre,
yeah,
and put Meany at the back. And then you got two decent, like really good goal kickers, and that strengthens your
well, that's not going through anyway with Lomax. Yeah, so that's done and dusted. And so far from what I see, a lot of rugby league fans, NRL fans, were supporting the Parramatta.
Yeah,
they were supporting the Eels. So I think I'm actually on Para's side on this because kind of had a conversation with you earlier.
Yeah,
I think this was more to do with the managers than it was play managers than it was Storm front office. Well, this was kind of like the downside of it going to court because they had to subpoena all the communication records, and it looks like the NRL has been, favoriting.
The Storm,
favoring. The Storm.
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about it today, I was reflecting and I was thinking, because the Storm's success, right, is vital for the game in a AFL dominated state.
Definitely.
So they need the Storm. They
right.
need the Storm to be successful in order for the game to grow. Because now even if the game is growing at the grassroots level, right? So it's absolutely important. And that's what I'm sensing from why the NRL was so kind of Peter Valandy's comments about Zac, and he's saying he's a good guy and this and that. And I get that, but I feel like they were kind of maybe doing them favors.
Yeah, and you want your best players. Like, I suppose Zac's he's an Origin player. You want him playing somewhere. So it's such a shame that if he's going to miss out on 2. I don't think he's going to miss 2 years. Well, he'll end up somewhere. Like they'll work
like I said, I feel like it was Parramatta were digging their heels and sending a message to play managers.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of touched on it with you today as a conversation. Like people see the Zac Lomax signing, right, and they see originally. I think Storm offered $200,000 and then they upped it to $300,000. The Eels wanted a player, right? They wanted a player swap because they wanted someone to add to their roster. They were thinking about their roster. Storm were just trying to pay them off, and then ultimately at the end, I think they were trying to offload Ryan Madison's contract, right? And then and Storm didn't want to borrow of it, and then when it was going to court, they tried to offer them like a deal at the 11th hour, saying, we will offer him a 1-year contract with an option, 2nd-year option, and Ryan Madison didn't want to take it, so they couldn't offload that, right? So that fell through, right? But I think, and people just see this, and they see Storm wanting to offer $750,000 to the Eels, and they just think, oh, why didn't they accept it, this and that? This is why I feel like it was a message to the managers, because people when Lomax left the Dragons, right, he signed a 4-year deal, and it was like 700,000, just under 650, 700,000, probably some bonuses if he made rep sides. So you sign a player on big money for 4 years, right? So that signing affects your recruitment strategy, your retention strategy. Because you're looking, okay, I've got this player locked up for 4 years, and you can start looking. So and what
are we building around that?
Exactly. You gotta maybe we have to let go of players. Maybe we can't upgrade these players, and so that's what happens. That's what happens after 4 years. Like you sign a 4-year deal, and then he gets out of it because of R360. After 1 year. And Para probably made decisions based on his signing. There could be a young gun coming through the grades, and then they sign Zac Lomax on the deal, and then that young gun goes, oh, my pathway to the NRL is now blocked, so I'm going to go to another team. Boom, you let them go because you think you're going to have Zac Lomax for the next 4 years.
That's right.
And then he comes out. So, there is a knock-on effect. Maybe they would have upgraded. Maybe they would have offered Lachlan Galvin more money.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they didn't sign Lomax. You know, so
harder for him.
Yeah, so I always think I think people, and this is why this is just my opinion, and this is kind of, and it goes twofold because there's an angle that the clubs have got, the organization got to come from, and an angle that the players got to come from. So when a player comes off contract, right, they are only going to get offers to clubs that are in a position cap wise to offer them a contract, or there's a team that needs a player to strengthen their roster in that position, right? So the offers you get is only dependent upon the clubs that are available. That are looking for a center, say for Lomax, right? So you're going to get an offer. It's a supply and demand, you know, supply and demand. Who needs and the same goes with the clubs. So the clubs are there's a juggling act with players coming off contract, this and that, and we need to strength. Maybe injuries get factored in. The player, gets an injury, Pappenhausen, concussions. You didn't see that coming, so he's got to retire. So the clubs find themselves in a dilemma where, okay, we need to look for a player who's on the market, who's available, who's coming off contract. They can't talk to him before November 1. The year before their contract finishes, otherwise you get into anti-tampering.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to.
Yeah,
not be able to
they're supposed to. Yeah, but the teams have to spend the salary cap. So if they're looking for a center comes on the market, they'll offer him a contract, and then sometimes if they're desperate, they have to spend it. That you have to pay over, right? You have to pay over. So there's this balancing act, right, from the clubs to manage their cap. Manage players coming off contract, manage juniors coming through, manage injuries. Okay, we got an unexpected injury with this position and he's out for a year.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. No fault. Stand down. Players tied up in court. Jack the Bell in 2 years. Well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I have to look for another second rower. Right? So the players are, the clubs are in that position. But then the players, they might want to go to specific clubs, but they can't because they're not looking for a center or they don't have the salary cap.
Unless the
right?
club's able to move someone on.
Exactly. And some of them won't if they've got a strong enough side. So this is what I think happened, right? Lomax leaves the Dragons. The clubs that are available that want his signature are limited. Eels sign him 4-year deal. Of course, the manager's going to lock up that commission for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. This is guaranteed income. I'm thinking about my bottom line as well. I've got a business to run. 4 years. Boom. 1 year into the deal, he's like, R360's come aboard. He gets released on the provision that he can't come back to the NRL till 2029. R360 falls through. Lomax come back. Now the market's different.
Yeah.
When he comes back, because now Pappenhausen's gone, so it's different. So obviously, if Melbourne were in the picture when he first left Dragons, he probably would have signed with Melbourne.
Yeah.
But because they're not in a position, they're not looking for a center.
They're not ready.
The Eels are there. He signs with there, and that's why I feel like this was more of a message to the managers that you can't just go around and do that because they plan
and that's why
for years in advance.
That's why I'm thinking there's got to be more conversations that have been had in the background over the last 12 months. Maybe Lomax was talking to the Storm at that time. I can't remember being in the papers. I know Storm were pretty quiet.
Well, you can't. He couldn't have. The Storm couldn't have spoken to him, but Storm players could have.
Yeah.
Stefano could have. To Kamanu.
Yeah.
He could have had a conversation. Nothing stops the players.
Yeah.
That's what happened with David Fafita.
Yeah.
Latrell Mitchell, and and Payne Haas is probably. Oh no, I mean Payne Haas, Latrell Mitchell, and David Fafita are probably in his ear.
Oh yeah.
But there's nothing. Players can have chats. Yeah. But player managers, coaches, and all that can't.
At Origin and that. And and that's could have been happening as you said, and then. Because, even Braith Anasta, shout out to Braith. He watches. He's a keen fan.
Him and Rennie.
He mentioned the other day, as a player agent, how can you put your player in that position to be exposed like that? He's the only player. Who else did they have signed? Where were they going to get all the players from?
That's why I think it could have been intentional, which is why Parramatta is doing what they're doing.
He talks about agitating and talking about Galvin's agent agitating when that was happening.
Exactly.
Well, how are we going to get out of this?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to 360. Para go, all right, well, we don't want to see you go, but, and then all of a sudden it falls over and he wants to go to Melbourne.
And that's why I commend the Eels, because they could have just taken the 750,000 that was offered. But they're like, no, we want to actually strengthen our roster. Like, and why would you strengthen a team that's already been in the grand final the last 2 years? Like that. But I like them.
They stood on their values, morals.
Yeah.
I guess at least in front of the media. Like Rolsey come on the. Yeah, I feel bad for him because obviously he's under Bellamy for so many years, and I feel a bit like he's a bit dog, but.
No, well, it's. Yeah. I think it was the headshots. Matt Tripp at the Storm and Matthew Beach at Parramatta. I think it was a clash of heads between.
Right.
Yeah, is the big guy.
He was on the other day getting interviewed, and they're just like, oh, what do you think about the decision? He's like, oh, the decision. Oh yeah, I just heard it before. We've moved on from that player. Like, players made a decision. We're doing our own thing. We're not waiting for a court decision. Like I thought that was really good what he said. You can see he's a bit filthy. Like,
well, I'm not too sure how much Riles would have had with that signing anyway, because.
Yeah, but he's one of your like last year. There was,
no, I mean like he wasn't. He was signed under Brad Arthur.
Yeah, that's right. So. But still, if you want Lomax or what's the other options?
Yeah, true.
On the wing for them, and they're up and they're starting to build. Like last year, they went pretty well. They rely heavily on Moses, obviously, but they're building. So
I rate them big time. I actually.
Addo Carr's found he performed last year.
Like, I feel like Riles has been an assistant at the Roosters, Robinson,
some real good systems.
Yeah, really, really, really good. But I feel like he's more Bellamy than he is the other coaches he's sat under.
Yeah, right.
Just with his positional changes, like getting Jack DeBella and putting Hopgood in the front, or not going to market straight up after losing Dylan Brown. He kind of blooded Josh Papali'i at 5'8", and he kind of looks like he can play 5'8", after a bit of development. But Sean Russell was a winger, but then he put him in the centers, and then him and Addo Carr had a great combination. Like right. I see some little him identifying.
Williams, great signing last year. Like,
exactly.
He's not the flashiest player, but he's a hard worker.
Solid,
trains hard. And
he's like a
leadership.
He's like a Sorensen, like just a strong, solid player. You look at he blooded Iongi, Isaiah Iongi. I just see a lot of upside to his coaching. Yeah, and he's not in a rush. He's not in a he's patient, because you look at he could have paid overs and went to try to what does he do? Just gets Jonah Pezzett for 1 year. Like I said, after a year we'll see what the market we see what players, if there's any disgruntled players or any coaches that want to let go. It's just why go pay overs to a player?
Credit to him too. Like that would have been a hard decision to let Gutho go. Like he was
for sure
the heart and soul of Parramatta. And I know if he was at the Tigers, that'd be a type of player. Like why are you letting him go? But sometimes you got that old culture there, whether good or bad.
Yeah.
But if you're coming in new, you sort of if you don't get rid of those older guys, you're just going to hold on to what you've always had because it's so hard to infiltrate the group.
Yeah.
I
think a coach, they've got to be comfortable with their style. They've got to know their style, their brand. Yeah. This is Parramatta Eels rugby league. I got grilled for saying rugby.
Oh, did you?
Excuse me. I got grilled for saying rugby. Yeah, calling them rugby.
That rugby game.
Yeah,
you got to determine which one it is.
So what's your brand of football? Parramatta have a brand, Storm have a brand. These doggies have a brand. I feel like he had to let go of the plays that he wanted
because he can't do what he
to have his brand.
Yeah, that's right.
He wanted, there was a style he wants to play, and props to him. And it's clear, we're talking about the Vegas round. I feel like I saw enough to see what Newcastle's style was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They have a particular style. We'll see how it goes. It's only first game.
The people are writing them off. I think they can have a good year.
I saw. We'll see. He's still young, but I feel like I feel like Ponga has got the best of both worlds. He can kind of play in the halves while still defending at the back, whilst you still have Fletcher Sharp is more of an organizer than people give him credit for.
Yeah,
Like
right.
I see him playing when I see him off the ball, organizing.
Yeah.
Like he's great. He's not afraid to call shots.
Yeah.
And he's beefed up a bit, which is good, you know. But
big rangy sort of fella.
yeah.
He's quick and they've got a good mix, but depth is another thing for them. Like because they're so top heavy with their roster with
Newcastle.
How many young guys?
Well, they are blooding a few young players. You know, if you look at all the juniors that they've let go, you know, the Hudson Young, like they got a lot of juniors. Payne Husses from the area, like the Latrell Mitchell's, right? Like if they just get the recruitment right, they can be strong. You know what I mean, they've got the players.
The whole Central Coast, right up.
Exactly. Like they've got the players. They're just letting go of Boyd Cordner, who's from Old Bar. You know what I mean? Like these are players that should be coming through Newcastle. You know? Exactly. So
I mean, you can't pick them all, can you? Like I mean, Brisbane let Cameron Smith, Cronk, those sort of guys go.
But the thing is, they're not even keeping. Like they're keeping the. It's different if they're successful and they're still letting go of good players, but then they're not successful and they're letting go of good players.
That's right. Broncos have been successful for that whole period, weren't they? So,
exactly. So
true.
So well, you know that's you know close to the Lomax and look, the thing was I think with Lomax as well, he was a repeat offender. Like you've seen him how he left the Dragons and then 1 year. I can understand if he left like halfway or 3 on his last year, but he left after the first year of a 4-year deal. So
he's the definition of you got a short career, you got to look after yourself, isn't he? Like he's just.
Well, I think that's what he's doing as well. He wants to win. He probably has goals. He wants to win a competition. Maybe he does want to go to rugby.
Well, you've got 10, 15 years, earn as much money as you can.
That is true.
Your body gets beat up, mate. Like,
I can see it. Yeah. But there's more to this than just
the days of being loyal. You know, like that's ideal in the fans' eyes, and they're holding on to like the 70s and 80s, but when blokes were working back then, and footy was the love. But now it's a business.
It's a business.
It's your job.
Exactly.
So you know, I don't. I'm not against any player that signs a better deal, more money for their family and for their life. And
I think it's just the way they went about it. Like it's just it's the way they
just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you could see kind of what they were doing. And then, like you looking back now, you go, that's why I was sort of a bit of a conspiracy theorist in that regard. You just think, oh, hang on, there's just too many things.
Peter Wallace, that was the player.
Peter Wallace,
Peter Wallace,
St Mary's boy, mate.
Yeah. I was thinking of him because he was a halfback, but he looked good when he went to hooker. Peter Wallace.
Yeah.
He's
a coach. He's a coach up and coming, mate. Yeah, he's.
Oh, is he?
He's in the system. Yeah. So.
Well, so that's it. You know, I'm glad this is done, and hopefully, like, I think for the integrity of the NRL, like, it was important that they didn't just like Eels didn't just roll over. You know what I mean? Because so we'll see.
That's what you just see happening. The Melbourne. Cleary getting let go, like depends on your name, depends on the type of club. Like, you know, there's certain things happen for those teams. So,
exactly. So, Mitch Barnett. What do you think, Mitch Barnett?
There's a few clubs that you know could use him. Definitely, like Dragons. I know they've got Kalamatangi coming. But like if he wants to be in Sydney, Para, you know.
Para have expressed their interest. The teams I'm hearing is Para, Dragons, and Manly.
Yeah.
So I think at any of those clubs he would add value.
Manly, like Takiaho.
Takiaho.
I didn't pronounce that right. Takiaho. He's on the back end of his career. He's been a great player. So they probably
Paseka's coming off the ACL injury, I think it was.
He's a bit injury prone the last couple of years, hasn't he? But when he's on, mate, he's dominant. Like his presence on the field. Yeah. So Barnett being out there, like he's solid, mate. He's there every week. He makes 1,000 tackles.
And if he's gonna
offloads,
this is a good time.
And leadership, you know.
Well, strong. I think obviously playing Origin, his stocks have gone up.
Yeah, definitely.
So if he's going to negotiate a new contract, this is probably the best time to do it.
Yeah. It'll probably be one of his last one, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But so we'll see where it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. You know, if he ends up at any of those 3 clubs, Drake automatically strengthens their roster. Especially, you know, you got Kolomatangi at the Dragons. You know, them just signing him, so if them two are at the front, if he pairs up with Paseka, that'll be strong. If he pairs up with Junior Paulo, that'll be strong too. So, so it'll be interesting to see where he signs it. He's said that he's obviously left because of family reasons, but then there's talks about him going to Brisbane and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't make sense anyway as well. But so Lomax. All right, so. What are you looking forward to? You know, the next. We don't have to break down every game, but what are some of the things you're looking forward to? Maybe a few games, like for instance, looking forward to see how DCE goes in the number 6 jersey at the Roosters.
I think it'd be good for him. He went all right in the trials, and I think listening to some of the like Cronk and Foran and that talking about him, they know him pretty well in the Roosters. It's a new sort of start, new lease on life for him. You become part of the furniture at Manly. Like he's been there for so long, you can get a bit comfortable. So be a good challenge for him. He's 37 this year. So like hats off to him to be able to keep himself in such good shape and be able to play at that level still. And I think it'd be great for the Roosters, great for Walker. They're quietly. Look, there hasn't been a heap of talk about the Roosters in the off season, well, as far as I know, concerned. But I think they're a team to watch and reckon with, and
I think they're flying under the radar.
And Mark,
no one need to watch it.
I'll refer to you, but
no one need to watch it, man.
He's just a freak, mate, and he can finish. He's got great finishes out wide too. So, Cherry, like they got good forwards. White's got another year under his belt, mate. He's a unit, isn't he?
White. They got some good. It was the blessing in disguise, when they had a lot of their senior players leave. The silver lining was that they were able to blood a lot of these young talents who are going to be better off having a season, of NRL under the belt, like your Robert Toya, your Blake Steve. I rate.
Feketi's one for me. I've been watching him for a couple of years now. Thought he's come up. They've brought him on sort of slow, but he's one to watch, mate. He's got a lot of skill.
Hugo Savala, who was probably the biggest loser in terms of besides Sandon Smith, who went to the Knights, but he's a great player too. So he'll be better off when if that's the direction they're going to choose to go with Savala when this year's gone. But we'll see. Is there anything else kind of about the?
I'm just excited for the Tigers, obviously. To watch them this year.
They look good in the trials.
Makassini,
bro.
Yeah, he's a freak, isn't he? Just a specimen, like to be able to knock over Edwards in particular.
Oh my gosh!
You just don't see that very often.
Palmed off
at all, really.
Kalani, he palmed off a second row. Kalani,
at 18, isn't he?
18, yeah.
To be able to do that and
I thought I'm always a bit wary when they hype up like young players. I'm like, but then you see. I remember, I think Josh Reynolds. Yeah. Josh Reynolds that played for the Dogs. He was on
the Blues.
He was on a podcast. Yeah, he was on a podcast. Did you hear what he said about Makassini?
Yeah, the coach was.
Who was he coaching with again?
Jackson.
Oh yeah, Josh Jackson. When they picked Makassini as like 18th man, and then they saw him. They saw him training, and they're like, "Oh, I think we made a mistake here." He just like, but he looks the real deal. I've heard people like.
Humble sort of fella, but from what
kind of giving like Israel Folau vibes, but stronger
and
stronger.
Sorli,
same
sort of build, age coming through, same sort of vibes too.
So exciting days, man! You guys played well in the trials. It'd be.
I think it's just a year without disruption.
The Lockie Galvin stuff really messed your season up,
and like they've got. All of them, a couple of young guys. Like Paulo is my favourite player.
Good footwork, late footwork at the line.
Yeah, I love him. He's great. And another year under his belt. And all the Fainu brothers, they're great. Like Sione, I like Sione probably out of the three of them the most. Just being a forward myself, but his footwork as well. Like he's deceptive.
He's great impact off the bench.
And obviously Luai in the halves, but. Just be interesting to see who, because Dewey's there. Dewey can just play anywhere. Really.
What do you think of Kaipi's Paul?
He was a good player at the Knights, so solid player. Just interesting to see if they can use him to his potential at the Tigers. I didn't see him running a heap of lines. He was more just defence. He was just tackling his backside off in those games, So, in attack, I didn't see him as much. But he's, he plays for Great Britain, for England, so he's obviously a decent player.
Yeah,
he's going to add more than we had last year. So,
it's going to be. I think you should without the disruption of the whole Galvin saga. I can see them improving a lot.
But I can also see if they come the first 10 games, if they've only won 3 or 4, Benji will be under pressure. Unfortunately,
we might as well go into that. The coaches under pressure this year.
Yeah.
Who would you rank the first one in the hot seat?
Well, it's easy to go Todd Payton, obviously, because he's been there 5 or 6 years now. Yeah, roughly. And they've had some success, but not where you think they should be. For how many good players they've got in the team or the cattle they've got. And I
always think about the region, right? Townsville.
Yeah,
the footy is big up there. Oh, so you got a region to choose from.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think?
Oh Payton? Payton will be number one. Yeah. And then I would have to say Seabold.
Yeah.
Seabold. I think Benji might have maybe a few years, maybe another 2 years, 3 years.
Why do you think Seabold underperformed?
Well, I don't think he's got much excuse. Maybe there might be some people that are still not happy by how the DC thing ended. Maybe, and I know that there were plans anyway.
Yeah.
Of a succession plan with Michael Ennis. There is he's actually said that he's only wanted to do another couple of years and move into into management, into front office stuff. Yeah, so right. So I think Michael Ennis is, but if he it doesn't go too well, maybe we'll see. But I can only see him because every other coach that was a threat, that was at risk, they're already gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Newcastle, Titans, they're all got, and they actually...
You could argue Flanagan, really, what's year 3 now?
Yeah.
They haven't had the cattle there, but, he's... Kyle being in the team, he's always sort of, criticised for keeping him there and haven't performed, and, a lot rests on the halves, whether it's rightly or wrongly.
I think... I
thought Ilias was decent half,
Well, Ilias and Jonah Glover were both at the Dragons last year, and they were coming first. I'm pretty sure they were coming first, or they were coming second, They won the grand final, I'm pretty sure, against... I could be wrong, but they were in the grand final.
Yeah.
But, and then, they won 10 games in a row or something like that, and he's still, while at the same time the first grade is on a losing streak. So I think that's going to... I think that's going to be his downfall, is how long he sticks with Kyle,
easy target, but being the coach's son, it's you got more magnifying on you. If he was at another club, there might be less. But if you got better players in reserve grade, you need to King Tonga got a run. He went all right for the game.
I think he was probably the future.
Yeah,
there. I think if Atkinson kicks on and shows that he can run the club, he can run the team. I think they would be open to, because again, it's one thing to release Flanagan, Kyle, but do they have another player come through? They did, but a lot of people rate Jonah Glover, who went to South. But
well, they missed Ashton Ward, didn't they? He's a Wollongong boy.
Yeah, mate. I rate him big time. He started this week.
Mate, he's, what is he? 65 kilos. 63
of
those are heart. Yeah. So.
Oh, he's great. He's great, and he's got a decent kicking game for a small guy. I actually think he's.
I love the way he uses the runners around him, creates space for himself, so he doesn't get dominated.
Yeah,
man, that's size.
Pokes his nose through.
Yeah,
quick play the ball,
and just for the Dragons to miss him.
Yeah.
They must have had somebody else there that they thought was a lot better at the time. So.
I think a lot of people wrote him off because of his size. But I'm actually looking forward to him.
He's going to have a good mix.
I rate him big time. I actually think his ball playing will is just as dangerous on the right side with Wyden and Campbell Graham, and if you got Jai Gray going around that side,
passing the ball to Wyden and
exactly,
Graham and.
But I really think he's going to create space because, like you said, he uses inside runners, outside runners. He shows. He kind of like he asks a lot of questions to the defense.
Was it Charity Shield?
Yeah,
Charity Shield out of Mudgee.
Yeah.
Like the space he was creating. It seemed like Wyden and that they always had an opportunity down that side.
Exactly.
And the other side, like Souths are going to be one to watch this year. I know.
Man, looking forward to it.
Like just the whole team, and then when Payne Haas next year, like they're right in that. And that's what Bennett does, I suppose. He brings teams together and brings the right roster together at the right time.
I actually think Ward is going to be the future, as in because Jamie Humphries he's not signing.
Yeah.
He hasn't re-signed.
Yeah, right.
On purpose. I think he's trying to leave his options open, which is going to be, if that's going to be the case, I think Bennett is going to be more likely to play Ward, who I like. He reminds me of Luke Keary.
Yeah,
reminds me of Luke Keary.
True.
Reminds me of Luke
Keary. Mold.
No,
yeah.
But
across the park.
Yeah,
mate, they don't go close this year.
No.
I reckon. You must be excited.
Yeah, mate. It's well, as long as we don't have an injury run like we did last year, because I don't care what team you support. No. If any team has an injury run where the majority of your salary cap is sitting on the sideline, you're not going to make the final.
Well, that's sounding.
You're not going to make the
positive.
Final.
Is they would have had a lot of guys that wouldn't have got first grade experience last year. So that come through. So that'll only put them in good stead this year. They're going to go real close.
Yep. No. Well, thanks, mate. Appreciate that. That's I think we've gone for a fair bit, bro. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed that. It wasn't so bad, huh?
No.
It wasn't too bad, man.
It's
all right. It's all
good. Yeah, no.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite, mate. And,
I just got to think about what hot take of yours to clip so you can get grilled on social media. Like the other boys get grilled. I appreciate you jumping on.
Yeah, thanks,
and hopefully we'll see Jared on the podcast regularly. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Until then, take care, stay blessed.
See you.